Hello, and welcome to Chat Sith Get Banged, the Calamity Final Fantasy TCG podcast. I'm your host Tom Hall, and joining me today, as usual, is the judge Mitch Lander.
Hello.
And everybody's favourite, or only popular Team Calamity member, Peter Scherer.
Hi guys. What?
Yeah, no one likes us, it's fine. Welcome. This is our 10th episode, so we had a little celebration. And it's was supposed to coincide with Opus 11 release, but we've been slightly delayed to various reasons. But we are here. We're going to do a legend review for Opus 11. But before we get started on it, we're actually going to start with the Ronso Rage this time, because as it was a special episode, we opened up a little survey to the community, and hopefully people that are listening to answer what would their community Ronso Rage be about. So I wanted to get your ideas for what you're angry about. So I think we'll start with them. We'll start on the negative, and then we can move into all the fun stuff in Opus 11. I just say, if you're expecting Michael Macmillan, because it's our legend review, unfortunately he couldn't join us today. We did invite him. It's one of the reasons why we delayed, because we kept waiting for him, and then he finally blew us off. Apparently he's too busy with university work, even though all the universities are shut. So read into that what you want. I'm sure he said he will join us later on. In a couple of months when it's all done. So let's look at the Ronso Rages then. So we had quite a few replies to our survey, so thank you for getting involved. I'll probably just go through each of them, and then we can just decide whether the person's right to be angry or not. So no particular order. Okay, there's a couple about coronavirus and COVID stuff, shutting local game stores, all that sort of stuff. So let's get them out of the way. People upset because you can't play cards anymore. Fairly obvious, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as I said, there are more important things, but we enjoy this, so...
It does suck. It came around just as a new release, like the first one that our weeklies got cancelled. It was the day before re-release, and we're like, oh no, never mind.
Yeah,
but
we have to wait so long for this as well.
Yeah. Just to say, I guess, don't be angry anymore, because time has passed. You get used to it. There are plenty of ways to play the game online. So there's like Octagon, Untap. You can even like Skype someone and view your table and stuff. So I think don't worry about Corona. Stay safe, stay indoors, and start playing people. We've managed to get our locals going on an online tournament, which has been really good. So we've done 2 of them, using Discord so everyone can chat to each other. That's been really cool. We've actually had really good turn as well. It's like more people come than sometimes people can't make the weeklies, but they're able to make the online one. That's been really good. To do a PC, you like the online locals, don't you?
Oh yeah, I really do. So I'm eating Garlic Brothers, so yeah, they're lovely.
Yeah, if you're not sure what to do, there is an awesome guide from the RVA returners. So John Schreiner has put together on his Twitch page or on YouTube, I think, like a guide of how to run your locals using Discord and Octagon and stuff. It's really simple and it's really cool. So yeah,
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thanks, John. Next one was Biran and Yankee. I guess they just don't like cards.
Was this a Tombow Rage? Was it?
It wasn't me actually. No, it wasn't. I quite like them, so I'm just happy to have them on those. Biran and Yankee, they've been trashed. We've been waiting a long time for other Ronsos and side characters.
I mean, that's the only 2 that really aren't Kamari. I'm not really too fussed. I don't know about you.
I thought they were right. It's always a bit of a shame, but they're not very good. Never mind.
No, it's no Don Corneo.
Right, next one. Monks get tons of support and knights being left to rot. Can't remember when the last time we got some knight support. They had it quite early on, though, didn't they?
I don't think they need it really, do they? I'm probably just going to get...
They've got a searcher and stuff, haven't they? That was quite early.
Yeah, and that's... Yeah, they got... Isn't that like Opus 1 or 2 Goltana? Yeah. And then Monk's got a searcher which is a 6-drop forward. So... take the good with the bad there.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't have much, like, if a knight does this, something happens sort of support. There's lots of the monks a bit more interactive.
Yeah. We'll just get a new knight soon.
Let's see, we haven't really seen a very good monks deck, and we haven't really seen a very good knights deck, I don't think so. If monks goes top tier, then we can start looking at knights.
Isn't Light Rain a knight?
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
So like, we've had a knight legend a long time ago. I think it's the first monk legend. Oh no, it's got a Sabin. Alright, I'll just shut up.
Alright, I'm not sure on that one then. The next one is YRP. Yeah, enough said. I think YRP's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Want to add anything on YRP?
Oh, is this the Ronso Rage? So we're raging.
That's correct, Peter. Yeah.
People are sorry. Why did you have me on here, Tom?
I don't know. It's always the last resort.
I know, isn't it? It's like, we've got that dickhead on. Right. YRP. What we're raging about it? I mean, yeah, enough said, isn't it? I think you're right.
Well, they didn't say anything else, so.
Well, they literally just put in a Ronso Rage YRP.
Yeah. I think that says everything you need to know.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, let's not talk about that for now because we've got other cards to talk about, I think.
Alright, next one. A bit of dodgy English here, so I think I'll translate. So I think what they're trying to say is rain is broken to fuck, please fix. Brackets, i.e. ban. Close brackets.
The WAF deck.
WAF raid, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Raid is quite broken, but I don't think it's game breakingly broken.
No, it's one of those cards that's like needs removal on your opponent's turn, but decks should be running that now anyway. Like a good deck will have something like that.
Mm.
So it's like we've said it was, I think it was in the last podcast we said about Kadaj. You need to be able to remove it during your opponent's turn. Decks that can't do that really struggle. And they'll struggle against WAF as well. So if you put something in to counter that, it'll probably counter Kadaj as well. So you can just cover all those bases with that one card.
Mm.
I think he played a bit of WAF. I don't think there's a massive problem with it. I think maybe with rain, the only thing that probably gets people angry is the balance, because it does so much for WAF and other categories don't do similar kind of like legendary support that does quite so much for a category. Maybe that's where it becomes a little bit broken.
I think it was one of the more unfair cards to come out of last set. I think it was so unfair of a card and its text that it created a whole deck. But I think it was quite refreshing, really, to have two brand new meta decks come into the new meta, to the Opus X. I thought it was quite fun, to be honest with you. I don't think it. I mean, I know it has topped, but you look at Worlds. Rampair, did pretty well, and I think eventually did win Worlds, and then Rampair won the Winter Cup too. So I wouldn't say it deserves a ban.
Fair enough. We only got a couple more, so Pandemonium. I think we'll get onto this in a bit. Sort of card that doesn't really.
I didn't mention it with YRP for a reason.
No. Yeah, so we'll talk about it a bit later. But yeah, I think everyone can agree with that. Why? Just why? I don't know. Why does it need to be there? So, I think if it was a fire card, that'd be really cool.
Do you know what I'll say? If Balfour gets banned, I can actually accept that this card actually exists in the game.
Yeah.
With Balfour still around, it's terrible. Damn you, Kageyama. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? All right, and then the last one. Okay, don't understand the question with a crying emoji. Okay, fair enough. Obviously not a listener. Thanks for joining the survey anyway. Cool. Has anyone got anything else you'd like to add? A personal rage on the side?
No, I'm good.
Mitchell wants to rage about why they brought in another shit Garnet.
Oh, we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that.
Repressed trauma. Okay, cool. So we'll move on.
What do you mean, another?
So our main focus of today is obviously the Legend review from Opus 11. So you may have listened to our one last time when we did Opus 10. So the way we do it, we assign like a rating for each Legend. So each person on the call gets to give it a rating, and we rank them from S tier down to C tier. So for the S tier, because that's the coveted slot, you can only have 2 slots for your S tier, and then 4 slots for the A, Bs, and the Cs. I think we'll just go through them in whatever order FX Dex does it. I think it starts with fire. So I'll just bring that up. But just before we start, just want to touch on our Opus 10 review. I think it was fairly linear. There wasn't too much different. We all sort of picked the same things. How do you think, now we've seen what happened with Opus 10, do you think we were right? Do you think there's anything that was maybe a sleeper hit that we didn't quite pick up on? I think we generally went for Squall and Ash. I think were at the top.
Did I not go for Hein near the top?
Yeah, Squall, Hein, and
Ash
was their main. So yeah, they all sort
Could
of.
you find what we said?
I couldn't. I was looking for it.
No worries.
But I do remember we were all fairly similar.
Squall, Ash, and Hein, I think at the top. I think we were pretty spot on with that.
Yeah.
Well, Rain as well. Rain.
Yeah, Rain. I think
Rain would have had to have been A.
I think we gave it A. Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
I think it was fairly not obvious, but we were all sort of agreed it was fairly obvious and linear what was going on with those. I think this is going to be quite interesting for Opus 11 because
It's going to be tough.
think we're all going to have very different views and stuff. But before we started, I also asked on the survey what was your favourite legendary card from Opus 10, just to see what the deal was. So I'll go through some of these. I just warn you, some people didn't read it right and they've gone for an Opus 11 Legend, but that's fine. Just thanks for joining in. So one.
Thank you for being our friends.
Friend.
This first person's favourite card was Fran, and they've given a reason. That was because it meant that Wind missed out on another Legend. That's fair enough. Fran got C's from everyone, definitely. Squall at damage 5 because it's unfair. Lightning as it was the most fun.
Lightning. Oh yeah, that lightning. Oh, okay.
Fair enough. Yeah, Squall at damage 5 is a bit unfair. It's a very cool card. I have to say Folker because Michael Macmillan said it was going to be amazing, and then no one played it. I
wonder who that was.
I believe in the 10 review. Michael did say Folker was going to be amazing, and yeah, no one has played it. Peter, was this you?
That was me. I was waiting for Michael to be on the show, so it's a bit of an anti-climax. Just sitting there, I'm sitting here in my pants, and I'm just like getting really happy about like reviewing Michael, but he ain't even on the show. Oh.
Yeah, right, okay. What was it? The card we said was played more than Folky. We were gonna tease him with. No, it's like a crap card. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think more people will have played Fran than played Folker.
The non-existent Wind Legend has seen more play than Folker.
Yeah. Lightning has come up a couple of times, so people like the Lightning. I did like Lightning. I thought that was quite fun.
Did you guys play Lightning?
I did. Yeah, I did. The times I played it, it was fun. This needs more Odins.
Rich played against me. He really ruined me with it, actually.
Yeah, Rich loved Lightning. If you can get it going quickly and like haste it and stuff, it's really good. Really cool card. And obviously Evan took it to the first Crystal Cup before Evan got cancelled and won it. That was a Lightning focus deck, wasn't it?
Yeah. Evan's won the World Championship this year, you know. It's just going to be him versus the current world champion at Worlds this year.
Well done, Evan. I don't think you're at Singapore there at the moment.
No, they'll do it over Skype or something.
Yeah.
Cool. Next one. So this one, someone read it wrong, so they said Aranea because it's only one that's category 15. So obviously that's an Opus 11 one. But yeah, Aranea is cool. We'll talk about her in a minute. That Ash because she is princess. Brackets also acceptable, not Rain. Close brackets.
Was that the guy?
We'd like to thank James Stevenson for commenting.
He did like.
Do you think it was him?
No, I don't think he don't care.
Probably not.
Maybe he knows it's job princess. I think that's irrelevant to him. Yeah, Ash was powerful, wasn't it? Good card. does a lot. I've tried it a couple of times, only more recently actually, and I like the where you can like negate a forward's abilities. Cost 4 less.
That's annoying, especially when you got
I used the activate and the wipe is the effects I used the most. But yeah, James did like it. I know he used to do the draw just because it's a draw. He likes it, so he was like drawing and discarding. But yeah, for me, activate and wipe ability was one. Yeah, very cool. Another Opus 11 one here, Shadow for the value meal. So yeah, we'll talk about Shadow in a minute. And then the last one, Refia. The art is sequel heart emoji. So yeah, Refia, the light legend. Didn't really saw much of that.
No, I didn't.
We say every episode someone build a good Warrior Lights deck because they've got so much support, and still not seen it. Yeah, the Refia's quite fun.
I played against a Warrior of Light deck at the Winter Cup. His name was Jonathan Taylor Bird. He's a mod on the FFTCG fans. Really nice guy, really lovely guy. But like he played a very aggressive version of that at the Winter Cup, and it was really, really good deck. And I just won. It was very, very, very powerful actually.
What were you running at the Winter Cup?
It's Windwater, unfortunately.
Only just one. He got to 5 damage.
I had to board wipe him like 3 times. It's an unfair deck, YRT though. So.
Cool.
I had to untap to tap and
So we're going to move into the Opus 11 Legend now. Thank you everyone who took the time to do the survey. I did enjoy reading your submissions. Maybe we'll do it again. It's quite a cool thing. So let's move into the Opus 11 Legend. So are you all happy with the rules? What you need to do? I'm going to keep track of them for you so we can keep track of what we're doing.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
So should we start in fire or do you want to start in dark? Last time we did fire and went through. We can go the opposite order if you want.
Do what you like.
Start with fire because I'm getting confused otherwise. Okay, so first card. Oh yeah, that's in number order as well. So first card up is Shadow. Peter, you can start with Shadow.
Oh, thank you for giving me such an amazing card to start with. Wow. For me, this is a S tier card, so I'm putting this straight. You can put that straight, not just as S tier, but the top card, top legend of the set for me. It synergizes with cards which come before it, namely the Lock from Opus 4. I don't know if you've heard of that card. It does some good stuff with Fire Ice. Basically, anything that pairs really well with Lock and helps them accelerate their game plan is insane. I'll briefly touch on Interceptor. I think Interceptor is really, really strong. If you've already played it or if you dig it out of Shadow, technically, let me do the maths here, it makes it like a 1 CP 8k haste, which is insane. Gives all other FF6 haste as well that backup. Shadow's special ability, I don't think it'll come up that much, but because there's cards this set like Dadaluma and Sabin which do you damage, I can actually see it being quite pivotal, doing I think 10k I think it is, or ECP, which is really, really strong. Essentially gives you a mulligan, which say if you have like drawn bugger all and then you see Shadow in your mulligan hand, you're like, oh okay, I can dig for some backups now. Which I just think they've really boosted fire this set, and this card belongs in any fire deck.
Hey Mitch, anything to add on that? What's your rating? High as well.
It's going to be A. Don't get me wrong, this card is very, very good. Like early on, you see it, it's fantastic. Later on, if you see it, it's not so great. The card that, if it was a legend, I would put in S tier is the Interceptor. I think Interceptor is actually better than Shadow. So it's for that reason that I think Shadow's, in my eyes, is outclassed by his like partner, which is his backup Interceptor. So I'm going to just put it in A. The high end of A, but it is still A.
Yeah, I suppose we should add as well, some of the A's of this set are probably S and above from the previous.
Oh yeah,
and like some of the ones,
it's been very hard.
Some of the ones we give C, would probably be A's in Opus 10. So that's how good I think
definitely.
this set is. Shadow for me, I'm going to put it in A as well. Echoing what everyone has said. I downrate stuff slightly if I think it's too tied to like one particular archetype, which Shadow isn't really, but obviously it highly synergizes with the Fire Ice 6. So that's why I think about. Also, I want to put other stuff in S because I want to try and sort of mix it up a bit for you. But Shadow is very good. I think, as Peter said, you can play it in non Fire Ice decks. You can play it in like Fire deck, and probably if you're playing anything with Fire, you can probably chuck a couple in just for that sort of early turn sort of value play and setup because it's really cool. So yeah, very cool. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So Braska's final Aeon. Mitch, you can start on this one.
Oh, you really don't want me to? You go first.
No, all right. So I'll go first. So I'm giving this an S tier because I absolutely love everything about this. And I'm giving it S, even though I know probably it's not really an S tier. But it's the card I was most excited about when I saw the Legends getting revealed, just because it's a bit different. I love big sort of beefy forwards, so big 10k sort of scary beast, 12k on attack. And when you choose it, it does another 10k. I just love all that sort of stuff. The discard effect as well. I've been playing around with that, and that's quite fun as well. So yeah, just super fun card. It's not like a traditional S tier for sort of majority of players, I think, but I just love it. I think it's so fun, and I honestly think people, they might sort of diss it a bit, but they will sort of shit the bed when you play it, because it does require immediate attention, and it is quite scary. So yeah, super fun. That's why I'm giving it S. Peter, go.
When I first saw it, I sort of shit the bed a bit, just purely because Square Enix had a thing against Fire in terms of that they had real trouble dealing with like problem wind forwards, such as Ishtola Aerith. So I think I'm glad that now a card like that such exists, but now we've got Kuchasport. It's not 100% necessary. I do like him, however, in Fire and Fire Wind, especially if you can give him like protection. We had like Opus 10 decks, like Yasmat sort of decks, where like if you protected him with Ishtola and say Saganashi monster, then you sort of had some really high value turns where you were protected, and then if your opponent didn't deal with that Yasmat, then you just won, just outvaluing. And I feel like if you can protect Braska, and you start attacking with him, and essentially there's obviously the new Chelenka backup, which you start attacking with him twice, and Jesus Christ, like 10k every turn. That's insane. I do think he belongs, unfortunately for me, in the B tier. I'm really sad to say that, unfortunately, though. But honestly, I think it's a really good card all round.
Mitchell, you're going to say C, I think.
He's gone.
Mitchell.
Sorry, no, I had myself muted. I was taking a swig of my drink, and I was like, I don't want to hear what you had to say. You didn't want to hear what you had to say. He's drinking your drink. But no, I agree with Peter. It's I think it's a B. Just because, and my problem isn't really with this card. It's with the summoners as a like group. You have the new Yuna, which has already been a summoner. You've got Garnet, which they had as summoner. You've got Aiko, which is the backup searcher, but also a forward for summoner. You've got Rydia, that doesn't really fit. And you've got Seymour, which is a backup only. So there's not really much you can choose from. Sort of forces it all into one deck. You're not going to have them on the field regularly, consistently. You also have Unileska, but as I said, it's just not. I don't think that effect's going to be that consistent to set up unless there's something I'm missing out of it. Playing it onto the field, it's strong, but I would rather have Fear of Thanos personally, because I'd rather, if I'm playing this down, I want it to protect everything else, not kill everything my opponent has. So, I don't know, I said I like it, I just don't think it's as good as the rest of them.
Yeah, fair enough. I like that he's category 10.
Yeah. He's got a lot of good stuff
That's
going
a good
for
category.
him.
No, so far I'm enjoying that one, but I've not really played many of the other. I'm taking my time with Opus 11. Okay, so next one we move into Ice. So Umaru, the 7 CP legend. Peter, you can start. You're the Ice expert.
I actually really like this card, but I don't know if a lot of people will, but just because Ice really struggles to deal with problem fours that aren't dull, outside of, say, that other Ice legend. I think his name is Soryu. Yeah. Because of that, I think it is a good card for Ice in general. I do like its other ability that it can be reduced. So any sort of further support with a Mog 7, 6. No, she's category 6, isn't it? Yeah. So any Mog 6. I don't know why I said Mog 7. Mog 6 cards come, namely a backup. Jesus Christ, if a backup came, suddenly this card becomes meta for the Ice deck because you're playing a 5 CP and then you can have like cards like which bounce like Unai and Renoa. Like, don't get me wrong, like Ice already plays 7 CP cards like Sephiroth and expensive cards like that. So I do feel like this is a card you do play to get rid of problem fours. Like Mitchell just mentioned a card which scares Ice to bits. It's Phil Thanos. So if that's just sitting there active, what can Ice really do? So they can get rid of it now and put it to the bottom of the deck and just sort of shove 2 fingers up at them. It's C though for me, unfortunately. It's sad to say.
That took a turn.
It's so good. Oh, it's C.
Yeah.
Children, do you want to rescue Umaru?
No, I'm going to put him in C as well.
You're going to put him in C.
I wanted to dig him up a bit though before I let it down, just because it's Ice cards. Ice cards.
The one thing I like about this card is the play where if you've got this and the Mog 6 Water one where you draw 2 cards, you can pay, like say you got your 5 backups or even 4, you pay 3 to play it, draw 2 cards, those 2 cards can be ditched to play this Umaru for 5. That seems strong. I just don't think the rest of the deck would match up to it. So, as I said, I'm just not that keen on it personally. And also,
I was going to say I wasn't giving it a C, but you were about to redeem it, but also.
No, that's it. No, I was going to say something else, but it wasn't to redeem it. So
I think it could be a solid B in other sets. I really do. I think it could be, but not this set.
Yeah, no, I think it's alright. I don't really want to play Mog 6, so I don't really want to play 7 for it. I said, it gets rid of Phil Thanos. Yeah, I don't know how long. Knowing my luck, they've probably got one in hand anyway. They just play it back down. I don't think, it doesn't do much after that. The fact is 9k, I don't think is that. It used to be quite relevant to have like a big 9k sort of forward. I don't think it's that much of a deal anymore because everything's so big now. So, yeah, I don't think it does enough at the moment. But, it's a legend for a reason. I'm sure it'll probably
yeah, if you get Peter said, if you get a Mog 6 backup, then it becomes really good.
Yeah. So maybe it's one for the future. The next one, Barthandalus. Mitchell, you can start with this one.
Yeah. I'm just having a look at where I put this card.
Oh, okay. I've made notes this time. I got caught out last time. I was going winging it a bit.
Yeah, so when you got to the last card and you're like, oh, I really like this card, yeah, but you can only put it in C. Oh. So no,
Ash is in C. Oh shit.
No, I really like this card. I don't think it's a mono ice card. I think it needs to be paired with something. But what it does, it needs to be answered the turn, like on your opponent's turn, almost straight away. Otherwise, they have to double their backups. If they can't, then they're going to be punished for it. And then Ice has enough now to freeze your opponent's backups that they can take advantage of that as well. Like you can just play the 6-drop Ultimecia, and if they do all their backups, then that's it. They're done. Like for a turn. So I really like this. The first effect makes me think it should be like an Ice Lightning card, but then you can also go Ice Wind because you've got the ping, Ice Fire. There's a lot of stuff it can be paired with. It's just I don't think it's a mono ice card, but I really, really like it. So I've put it actually in A.
Cool. Peter, I know you love this one, don't
you? yeah. This is a really good card. I've also put this in A. A tier, just because both of its effects immediately very striking effects. It's instantly a meta card for me. I think last Opus showed that people are scared to try or to go to tricolour decks. This card is going to be very scary anytime you drop it. And if you compare it with something like Mitchell said, I hate to mention Wind, but Pandemonium immediately strikes to mind because it does 2k across the board. You could go Fire, Ifrita, if that's your thing. You could go Ice Lightning. My friend Aslan, he plays Lightning. I think it's called Raiden something. And he does 2k to active forwards, and you draw a card as well, which that's really quite strong actually. So Ice Lightning, it gets searched by Mog 13 as well. So some instant synergies there. Incredibly strong, and like Mitchell said, it needs to be arsed immediately. I've got not really much more to say on that.
Yeah, so I've actually gone S tier for this one, just because I think it's a bit different. So it's a bit different to sort of Legends we've seen recently, and it's so flexible. Like you said, you can put it in all different sorts of decks, which I think is really good, particularly for Legend cards when I don't like them when they're sort of pinholed into a sort of particular category or a particular type of deck. So there's lots you can do with this. I think people can be quite creative with it, and I think it's going to wreck me a lot because I think I'm going to get punished by it. And I think I'm not going to like this card, so that's why I'm giving it an S tier. That also means actually my 2 S tier slots are already taken up. Mitchell, you haven't picked any yet, so I'm really interested to see what you're going for because you haven't done any. I think most of my controversial choice is going to be between the A's and the B's. What
were your 2 S tiers, mate?
I went Braska just for the fun.
That was it. Yeah, sorry.
And then the Bath Andalusia. So I think it's good. And yeah, I think it'll inspire creativity. Hopefully, some new sort of deck types and things. Just before we move on, what do we think of the artwork on it? Because at first I thought I didn't really like it, and I thought it was a bit weird for a Legend card. But do you like it?
It looks like it's taken from the game. I don't know actually if it is, but I've never been a big fan of those sort of cards.
Cool. All right, let's move on we're into Wind now. So yeah, another Una Legend. That's just what we needed. Who wants to start with this one? Mitchell, you can start with this one.
Yeah, it's a shit card. It's C.
Oh, okay. What is it? Is there anything you like about it?
It's a summoner.
It's a summoner, but that doesn't mean it's a good one. And also, we've already had a Una summoner. I like the dual cast. The special was really fun, but the way it looks like it needs to be in something like not mono wind, in Wind Earth or something like that, so it could be brought in free, and then you pay the wind and 2 to get summons. It just seems really weird. Like maybe that would.
If it was in water, I think it would be different. I don't know why it's in wind. So
I don't know, but
I don't know why they put it in wind.
I mean, I do think to play this card you need to go into the Earth side because you also have like Tyro that can tap for any colour, and then that means you can play your different colour summons. But as I said, I'm just not a big fan of this card, and I just don't understand. I can see why it's a Legend because of what the value it can give you. Like 6 summons is absolutely insane. But I was watching Tim and I think it was Patrick Rodriguez or something. I can't remember his name, so I do apologise.
It was definitely Patrick. I can't remember his.
Yeah. They were seeing the special and they were working around the special all the summons, and then it was like, okay, well, we'll have Zodiac, we'll have Bahamut Zero, and I'm like, well, if you've done Zodiac, Bahamut Zero will trigger first. It'll break something, so then they're all dull. So then they're all dull, and then Zodiac kills them anyway. So it's like, it doesn't seem to work out very well. They need to, if there's a lineup of summons that can break backups, can draw you stuff, and all of that sort of stuff, then that's fine. But it's a lot of work just to make this one card work, and I don't really see it being worth it, or even strong, to be fair.
Peter, what do you think of Yuna?
Yuna's a solid C tier for me. Very sort of. I'd like to talk a little bit about it just because it is card name Yuna, right? So, and it's our first sort of wind Yuna, so I think Valfor does deserve a mention here, that you can actually play YRP now in mono wind. I don't think that is going to be the case. Obviously, this card sort of does its own thing and it has its own value. Like Mitchell said, an ultimate value card, sort of a high risk reward sort of thing going on, and then you play the special and then you sort of win, I guess. That's the idea, but it's not for me. I actually can't work out if this card is any good or not. I would love someone to come along and just make some amazing deck, and I'll be willing to try it because I think it looks fun.
The thing that boggles my mind is that, so the way I see it, like the combo that looks like they're trying to make you, like, force you down, is you get your 6 summons, and then maybe you Yuna special to do the cast the next summon, and like Garnet tap effect to play a random summon in your hand, and then if you're lucky, you get the highest cost one, and then you work your way down. But if you get the lowest cost one, well, like, you're screwed. Yeah, that's it. And then, why have you done that? It's just all of this play just for this one thing.
Yeah, it's very, it's a weird card. The only reason I put it in C is because I personally can't figure out whether it's any good or not. I'm waiting for one sort of Japanese lad to sort of put some amazing deck out there when all this is said and done, all this craziness outside, and then we're just suddenly, oh my god, Yuna's amazing. Like I'm willing to be proven wrong on this card.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. This is a card for Japan.
Yeah,
someone in Japan is going to crack this. Is going to be immense. I can't wait.
We'll be like, oh, how do you
just know it?
Yeah,
you just know it.
You just see, yeah. This is unfortunately I've had to put it in C as well because I'm not as clever as the Japanese deck builder. So it looks like this, like Mitchell said, it looks like this should be really busted, but we just can't work it out because we're too stupid. At the moment for me, when I first look at it, it's a bit wonky. It needs to be like I don't know why it's wind. It doesn't really fit with the summoners, and you said earlier we're sort of starved of the different summoner forwards, so to keep giving us ones of the same name. And then put in another element as well, where you have to pay mostly with the element, just makes it a bit awkward. I can't quite work it out. I don't know if I want to search for 6 summons, because like how many summons you have to run.
Even if you didn't search for the 6 summons, you'd be getting value out of it.
You get some value out of it, but
how much do you pay with Yuna to get these 6 summons?
5, 3 wind and 2 of anything. So, like,
just awkward.
That's 5 CP. If you got 3 summons, then that'd be 6 CP back. And that's presuming that you didn't pay for Yuna. Maybe you could use that to fix your hand so you can play random colour backups.
Well, I think
you need to play
Yuna later on, though, won't you?
Yeah, you probably
Yuna later on. At which point you probably sort of milled through a lot of the summons. Yeah. So you're going to have loads of summons, and that's where I'm just not sure. But I want to see it work.
Though, because it puts summons back into your deck.
Yeah, 1 when it enters. So I don't know. I'm just not sure on it.
We could go on forever with this card.
Mitchell, does that work though? You know, like say if you play Yuna for free, Doesn't it work in the same way as Fina? You can't pay for her sort of overdrive.
No, Fina's when the cost is paid, you have to pay. But Una specifically says when Una enters the field, you may pay 5.
You pay 3. Oh, 5. Okay, no, that's fair enough then. All right, let's you can cheat her in and pay 5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can you do? Can you like stack on the payment? So if she comes in, you can. I was sort of asking you this the other day. I didn't quite understand it. So like she comes in, you dull all your backups to pay for Una. Can you do stuff like where you? Is it Zoo? The monster activates all the backups.
You can do that because
play Una, Zoo, activate them, and then pay for the effect.
Una enters the field. Her effect goes onto the stack, and then any cost that you pay for an auto is done at resolution. So you could Zoo, activate all your backups, and then Una to pay the 5, and that'd be fine.
Maybe there's something there. I don't know. Takes time. Let's move on.
Or Valve.
Yes, yeah.
Just Valve 4, sorry. Oh dear. Here's us talking about interesting creativity, and then the answer is Valve 4. Alright, nice one. Of course, because you searched for it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So never mind. Alright, okay, so next one is Ritz, the other wind legend. Peter, you can start on Ritz.
I'm sure Mr. Rich Mason would have loved to have been talking today about this card. He loves the game and loves the card. I know he will be playing it. This goes in A, a very, very high A for me. Doesn't make S, unfortunately. So, sorry, Rich. I think this card is amazing card design. I know Tom thinks it's quite a boring card, but I think sort of Fire Wind, in general, hasn't really seen a lot of play. It's always had that sort of unblockable sort of thing, or like a Manners ping thing, and it has its identity, but it's just always struggled. And I look at it now, and I look at cards like the pair of it, like March, which can be reduced by 2. So you play that for free, CP. Play Ritz for free, then swing with Ritz on 3 damage. As we know, Fire now can take damage to accelerate their game plan, and you've just paid 2 4s for free, and I think that is pretty busted. Essentially, main phase 2, you could play an Ishtola or an Ansaganashi to protect, say, those cards, so Ritz to sort of those problem cards. I just think it's going to be really problematic. I did speak to James Stevenson earlier, and he got clapped up by this very deck. So I just thought I'd shout that out to James. There you go. And he was telling
Always
me,
got love the shout out to James.
It's free, and it's really, really problematic. I think it could be the set for Firewind to shine. So I think I might say that. Yeah, I think it might be quite a meta deck, this set, but I'm putting my neck on the line there.
If there is a meta this set.
Yeah.
Good passes by, isn't it? Mitchell, where you put in Ritz?
So I agree with what Peter said. The artwork even looks like Mr. Blobby, so it gets the thumbs up from there. So I'm fully on board with this card. Peter said like it works like the 2 fire decks that were the wind fire decks that were around were unblockable, and the Manasrin Dancer decks, and this card actually fits into both, and that's what I really like about it. I think it's a genuinely brilliant card design. Even if it is a little bit like boring, it fits both styles of fire wind. It works very well. So I've actually put it in A, and again a high A.
Are you going to give Garnet a S just because it's Garnet?
No, I'm not.
So I have actually given this one a B, and it's not because I think the card's bad, because obviously it's good, it does lots of stuff. I just think it's a bit boring. Gets haste, gets power, can't be blocked, activates 3 backups. Just think it's a bit overkill, and I don't think it's that spicy. Just think I find it a bit boring. Doesn't really excite me, and because it's wind as well. I don't really like wind, so generally it just was. I just found it a bit annoying. So I've given
What
it a
did you
B,
give it, sorry?
A B. Yeah,
Okay.
just because don't really. Yeah, as I said, don't really that exciting. But yeah, shoot me down. People don't really care. Just think it's boring. Could you play this in non FFTA deck. So is that activate bit and the block bit good enough to see it played in without another FFTA forward?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it needs to go in Fire Wind, but I do think it needs that FFTA forward.
What do you think, Peter? Would you think it needs it? I was wondering if like a wind water build where you got so much value. There was like that older one that ran like for Sawyer as well, so you get to 3 damage and you've got a forward that can't be blocked, and you're removing most of their forwards anyway, and then it's just activating all the time. I thought maybe you could slip it in without the other forwards.
I wouldn't play it in wind water. Mitchell mentioned Tyro earlier, which I think deserves a second mention. I think it's a really good card that you can search any forward, tap it, so you can play any off-colour sort of forward you like, and then pay it. You could actually, essentially, the next turn, have Rich in your grave and search March, play March, bring Rich, swing. You could. I don't know if you play outside Fire Wind though. I mean, you could, definitely could. I mean, I know our friend Aslan's doing it at the moment.
Slip it into Mono Fire even, couldn't you? Because Marsh plays it out of the break zone.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
Is it Rain that searches Marsh?
No, it's Mont Blanc.
Personally, I prefer the other March in Mono Fire, but that's just me.
Yeah, the Mono Fire, like the reveal top 5 March.
The X March reveal one is really good. So
that's just because it's both like Mont Blanc is an EX searcher and March is EX, so it's like adding like 5 EXs to your deck. We got like to start with on Mono Fire is always fun.
Yeah, to be honest, Tom, you could. You are right again. You could do it because like I have played the Black Mage backup before. That's an FFTA backup. You could play Mont Blanc, which is an FFTA. You could play March for 3 CP. You could still play both Marches. I mean, that March just dies. It does its thing. It dies. And then you could bring the Ritz out from the break. If your opponent sees that, though, they're going to see your sneaky strategies. And then Kadaj is a thing as well. So, but yeah, I think you're right there, Tom.
I seem to remember the Mont Blanc having like a deal 2k to a forward or something like that when March is on the field, like you tap it and pay 1 fire or something like that. So then you could Ritz to activate it, and so you could actually get some stuff like that going off.
I'm sorry, you can Phoenix Ritz as well, can't you?
Yeah,
it comes in dull though, but okay, maybe there is something more interesting.
But it needs to be killed. It needs to be killed if you Phoenix at the right time.
Yeah, but no on 6 damage. They're swinging.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not so boring then, but yeah, at the moment. The shout out to Mr. Blobby as well reminds me the person who said Umaru was a dabbing gorilla, which I thought was cool. That's how
What? Oh, I've never noticed
Umaru,
that.
someone said I think his son was watching Mopa Packs and his favourite card was the dabbing gorilla.
Is that what the artwork is? I didn't remember.
Yeah, it's like he's a yeti, isn't he? So he's like curling over, but it doesn't look like he's dabbing. So yeah. He
That's
gets
really funny.
A C+.
How did they go to a pre-release then?
No, I think the guy was just opening his packs.
Oh, okay, sorry, yeah.
Someone, his son, I think, had said, "Oh, it looks like this. That's my favourite card." So it was quite fun. That's how I always think of Umaru as that now. Okay, so we'll move on into Earth. So the next one is Ursula. Who wants to start with Ursula? Mitchell, you can start with Ursula.
That was Tumbleweed then, wasn't it?
Yeah, don't jump at once.
I'm going to upset Ben here. Actually, no, he doesn't like this. He doesn't like this card. He prefers the 2-drop Ursula.
Everyone does.
Everyone does, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like this card. It seems to do a lot, but then it's a 4 cost for 5k. Like, it can play you a monk onto the field, but then you're running, to use a phrase that's popular in Calamity, suboptimal cards just to play this card. I don't really see it. So I'd rather just run an Ursula that's good, which is the 2 CP one. I mean, you can get like Yangs. You can get 2 CP Yang back, but then you'd want to play the other Yang. As I said, it just seems very messy just to make this card work. So I've put it in a C.
Yeah. Peter, where are you at?
Yeah.
Very similar.
I'm put this actually as the very bottom card in my list. I would say Ursula's a C. I just kind of think that I haven't played many Final Fantasies, so I don't know that many monks, but she's free off Yang, obviously, but I feel like if she was called any other name other than Ursula, then she sort of slots into the deck, and then you try and sort of monopolize a deck which is actually quite fun. Like, I've seen people play the deck, like the 4-drop Yang, which can deal your opponent damage when you attack and things. It can be a real pain to deal with, and they definitely are quite a few cards off being a meta deck, but I kind of feel like, yeah, if this was named anything other than Ursula, which at the moment the card is the 2-drop if you're playing the deck, then yeah, I think the value is there. Obviously, you can sack monks and boost and things, and maybe you just need more monks. But Tifa, this legend Tifa should have been a monk, maybe. No, let's not start that off. Let's not go down that road. But no, honestly, this set was quite underwhelming with forwards in terms of, like, outside of like category forwards, I've got to bear in mind, like actual forwards which go in sort of general decks. It was quite underwhelming, and I felt this sort of fit the list as well. It was quite an underwhelming forward list for this set.
Yeah, and I sort of agree. I put it in C as well. Like you said, I like the other Ursula, and I was playing around with the monks before, with like that Yang. But you want to put that Yang onto Ursula, the 2-drop one, and then it's great. But this just seems, I don't know. Can't really see where it fits. I'm sure someone proves it. The Ben at Calamity always plays really good monk decks, so I don't know. I think he was saying you play this early just for some value, and then you let it die so you can play the old Ursula when you're sort of set up. So maybe so. Yeah, I don't know. I think we talked about this when it was spoiled as well, and I like sort of understand to put the monks into the break zone and do stuff, but all of the monks do that anyway. So most of the job monks, when you put them into the break zone, they have their own effect that does similar stuff. So I didn't really, I just don't really. I don't know. It's just a bit weird. Okay, but it is a legend, so. Kageyama probably knows what he's doing. He must have something. Yeah, maybe it's better than we think. At the moment, I'm just not sure. Not great. C. Cool. All right, we'll move into the next Earth legend. So this is Tifa. This caused a lot of buzz. 1, because it's Tifa, and 2, because it's one of the full art legends. So, Mitch, do you want to start with Tifa?
I actually really like this card. And I really like this because, like, granted, there have been good Tifas before, but this Tifa, to me, changes FF7 to being... It used to be like a sort of removal, like high-powered forwards, but not overly high-powered forwards. Like, your biggest was Barrett, then you had, like, your Cloud. This changes that into, no, we're going to be absolutely massive and brave. You're going to have to be stronger than us to kill us, or you're going to have to work out little tricks to kill us. But Tifa needs to die before you can deal with the other forwards. And also, at 3 damage, they can't be broken, so you're going to have to ping them. It seems very, very strong to me. And the fact is, like, when you've got a card named Cloud, you reduce, and you can be paid with any CP element. So this card isn't slotted into just Earth. You can play this in a mono-fire FF7 deck with Tifa and still pay for it without any issue. So I genuinely love this card. So I've put it in A. So
that's your last A.
Oh no, it's my last A.
Sitting nicely for, there's 1 C slot left for Garnet. Peter, what do you think of Tifa? You've dabbled a little bit in FF7. You tend to go more WoF over 7, don't you? But what do you think of Tifa?
I really like her. I think she's a really good card. She has great lines of text. She gets reduced by 1 if you control a Cloud, and as Mitch said, if you can play with any element. I saw Mogpod funny enough, post a mono ice aggro deck with the new Kadaj Remnant one, the fire ice one, sorry, the ice one, and you can play the new Cloud, so you can search for Tifa, then play with it, pay for it. I think that's quite unique. I think Fire Earth aside, and I say this very strongly because I think Fire Earth has its deck, and it's kind of, I would still play the starter Tifa personally, but I think this is like a mono Earth or a Wind Earth, which I'm enjoying playing this Wind Earth variant of it with her and Legend Aerith, and then you got Barret, and then that's where I think this sort of belongs. And I think it could be very strong. This sort of version of FF7 could be very strong with it. And the new Cloud, I think, pairs with it quite well in that, there was very few Clouds that you could play before playing the Tifa, if that makes sense. So it was kind of like you could play this Cloud now to now search your Tifa, then play the Tifa for 4. Think of the start Tifa now. But yeah, I really do like it on 3 damage as well. Basically, any card that says no to Diabolos in my book is really, really good. I've put it in B, sadly. I didn't want to. Tifa is actually one of the first cards I ever played in this game, and I remember playing the 2-drop and the 4-drop and saying to give it haste, and I sort of fell in love with the card because obviously I liked it from playing FF7 back in the day, so I kind of like any Tifa that comes I really gravitate to, and I'm really looking forward to playing it. But I've been testing the Fire Earth FF7 as well recently, and actually I do prefer the starter Tifa to this Tifa in Fire Earth. So it's a really weird, its name is the problem, actually. I think if this card was called, I can't think of an FF7 character that could go in. Let's just say Red 13. I love Red. Yeah, I love Red 13. I used to play Red 13 as one of my playable characters. But if this was called Red 13, okay, then fuck me. That deck is really, really good now. But because it's got a name clash, I think it sort of struggles a little bit there as well. So yeah, just B for me.
B, yeah, cool. So I'm around. I did put it in B myself, but actually I kind of want to move it up to A, but I'm not sure. Then I'll have to bump something.
It's really fun to play.
I think it's cool. I normally downgrade my rankings if it's sort of fixed to one particular archetype. So in fact, it's a 7 category thing. You're supposed to lose points, but what I really like about it is what Mitch was saying about the providing you're playing Cloud, you can play it with you can pay for it with any element. So you can play in all the different. There's lots of different potential FF7 combinations you could do because it's got so much sort of wide-ranging support. So lightning, wind, ice, fire. You can sort of bung it in all of them. So that's quite cool.
Yeah, you could theoretically go Fire Ice FF7 with Tifa.
Yeah, or even with the Turks and stuff. No one's really done much. So you can pair whatever element you want and then bung Tifa in. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think I'm going to stick with the B though. Well, I do think it's really cool. I do love FF7. I don't want it to be too strong though, because it'll just put me off. So if it's too good and too obvious, I'll probably gravitate away from it. I'll probably stick with Earth Fire though if I'm going to start with 7. I think Peter, what you're saying about the Tifa clash, I'd probably run like a 2-2, 2 of this and 2 of the starter, and try and go for like early plays with the hasty one until it dies, and then bring this one in. Probably. No, I suppose I've got to keep the Cloud alive. I don't know. But yeah, it's a cool card, but a B for me. So now we'll move on into Lightning. So the first Lightning Legend here is Aranea. This is also the box topper full art card. Mitchell, I know you like this one, I think. So I'll start with you.
I did.
Have you gone off it? You gone off it, okay.
No, it's a good card. You've got, when we first saw it, you was like, okay, you can play this, you can get Urianger, and then you can get Cactobite. That's a brilliant play. Then Galuka was spoiled, and I was like, okay, that's a good card with it. But outside of those 2 cards, I don't see what you pair this with. The 3 damage effect. The haste, if you're on 6 damage, if you're playing lightning and your opponent's just left you on 6 damage, they deserve to lose.
Yeah.
Now that this is a card, they deserve to lose. Like, this is their own fault. They've brought them upon themselves. But the 3 damage, like bringing in the 2 cost or less, as I said, if it's a mono lightning deck, it's probably better than the Wind Lightning version, but I don't know. I can't work it out personally. I said apart from those 2 plays, I can't really see how good it is.
You've forgotten about the plus 1,000 bit the other day when we were talking, and then all of a sudden you're waxing lyrical because it gets the extra 1k off other forwards, and it's first strike.
And then I just read the card, and remembered it got that as well. Okay, so it's a bit better than. Okay.
Where are you sitting with it?
No, I'm still going to keep with what I'm going to put it in B.
In B, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, because of those 2 plays, it's a strong card. It's worthy of a legend. I just can't work it out.
Peter, what do you think of this one? You don't really play Lightning, so.
My friend Aslan's gonna be very shocked actually, because I put her in A for Ariana. Both my, as a bit of a spoiler, both my lightning ones are in A. Weirdly, I don't think I'll ever do that. I don't like playing lightning. I think purple cards are quite underwhelming. They don't really.
They're scum.
Excited. But that being said, Kuja, Aranea, let's just forget Kuja right now. Aranea is a really good card. Get her on 3 damage. Let's not even talk about the 6 damage, because that will rarely come up. It, like Mitchell said, if it comes up, this is game. 3 damage. Houston, we have a problem, because the value you're going to get off that with the new Glauca, I forget how you pronounce it. Then you can play Illuwas for 2 CP, anything for 1 less. I just think I've seen a lot of decks on Octagon playing that. It's really, really strong. And then she's got a first strike as well. Oh, wow. I mean,
I feel like I should have changed my option, but it's too late.
She's an A for me.
You wait till my one.
I see it being quite a very strong, very, very strong deck. I think we'll see a lot of aggro to begin with this set, but like I think this will stand the test of Opus 11. I think this deck, because it's got a lot going for it. And there's been a lot of cards this set that are non-legends like Glauca that deserve mentions, and I think that deserves a mention too. I think it's reducing cards that pair with the colour. So say, I can't think of anything right now. Kane. So I don't play Kane. I've never played Kane, but it's a very good card. Searchable for the same element, Bermesia, and it's 2 CP, which I can imagine that being very, very strong as well. Illuwa 2 CP, like you could really ram forwards down your opponent's throat very fucking quickly. But when that Illuwa special, Illuwa is for me the best lightning card. I think Mitch will probably agree. I honestly, anything that makes Illuwa cheaper for me, like wow, really strong.
My issue my issue with this card is, if you've already got Glauca on the field, what do you play with? And you don't have Ariana, what do you play?
That's what I was going to say. It should really just say at damage free, play Glauca onto the field.
That's what it's going to say. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I don't know Lightning that well, so I can't really comment. But I know you mentioned Yuri Angel, but I think you're going down a different route. I personally wouldn't play Yuri Angel in a deck with this.
That would be a Wind Lightning deck.
Yeah. In Mono Lightning, I don't know the deck well enough. I'm really sorry.
I think Dragoons. There's some cheap cost Dragoons if you went down.
I think a Wind Lightning deck will make more of use of the 6 damage. Like if you're on 5 damage because your opponent's like wary of it, you could play Ariana, play Yuri Angel, then play the Cactar, ping for 10k, take a point of damage. Now you've both got haste, and that's. As I said, it works well in that deck and Mono Lightning. only seems to have those 2 plays.
I mean, Glauca's going to die, right? She's a 2 CP 5k that basically says, in my opinion, to other cards that we have mentioned, that it has to die. We've mentioned this before. It kind of has to die because you can't let your opponent have that much fucking value. With that being said, like, Aranea doesn't have to die. You know, if you kill her, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to play another one and get back Glauca. We're going to go through this whole problem again, mate. You know, I think it's a really good card.
But she will just keep swinging.
Yeah, I've actually put it in C, though.
Aranea. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think it's good, but like I said, it sort of basically says play Glauca. If you kill the Glauca, you can, like, Kadaj it out, get rid of it, you know, get rid of the Glaucas, target the break zone. And then, I don't know, like the damage 6, that's never going to come off. I think the sort of deck this goes in, you're probably not going to get to damage 6 because it's going to be all over long before then. You're probably going to be stomping people, so you won't need to worry about the damage 6, I think. So I don't know. The first strike bit is quite good with the 1000 power, but then you're probably spamming sort of smaller stuff, so you'll get into sort of combat tricks where you'll swing thinking you're sort of almighty, and then they'll just ping off the little forwards that have boosted it and sort of catch you out. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure on it. I was generally terrified of it when it was first revealed, and I don't really like sort of generic, like, hasty decks where you just spam and haste and it's all over in like a couple of turns. So I was worried for it, but yeah, I'm not sure. There's other ones I want to rank higher. That's to say, if this was in like another set, the C value it gets here would be way stronger. So I'm not saying it's a bad card by giving it a C. Just think, yeah, I'm not sure. Not overly sure on it at the moment. I played against it a couple of times. I think George was playing it at the Calamity Weekly, and I was sort of able to. I was running water, so I could like wipe it, like Ash can wipe it, and I was like cooching it and stuff. So maybe if I wasn't playing water, I'd have a harder time. So yeah, not sure on it at the moment. I do think it's good though, and like you said, with Glauca and Illawa and stuff, it just gets a little bit oppressive. So definitely will be a problem card. I'm just not sure the text fits in that. Some of the text fits in that well for what you'll be using it for. Cool. Okay, well, let's move on to the next Lightning Legend. I'm going to start with. Should start with Fukuja. Kind of want to start with Mitch because I think I know what you're going to say. So just in case Peter trash talks it, I'm going to start with Peter Fukuja to get Mitch fired up.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to fire up Mitchell. It pairs really well with the card we just mentioned in taking damage. Aranea. Kuja can kill problem forwards for Lightning now, like Ishtola, Erif. The card is amazing. You can synergize it really well with cards like Seymour. I've seen Mitchell play the other day, and fucking bastard. He put Seymour, I think he put Odin on the top, and then played Kuja, killed my 3-dot, killed my other forward, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Outside of sort of mono light, and I think it's just really, really fucking strong. It couldn't be a better card without being inherently unfair to card design in general, really, because it has a special ability which may come up and could make it even more stronger. So it's an A for me, a very good A, and I think it will see play in the meta, and I think Lightning got 2 very good cards this set.
Mitchell, what do you think of Kuja?
So I've put this in S, and it's for exactly the same reason as Peter. It genuinely deals with the problem cards. But the reason I've put it in S and not A is because I know, because I've played Lightning a lot, I know how much of a struggle it is to get rid of cards like Yustola, Aerith, all of those sort of cards. And you've had to almost always run that 3-drop Odin that breaks 3 cost or less. Now you don't. You have another option. This forward will break your opponent's forward and provide you with an 8k, in Mono Lightning 9k, and that's very strong. So, as I said, I think the value that this gives you, and it doesn't negate the EX damage, so you could actually hit an EX off of it. Like, if you played this and hit, like, for example, an Adia or the 7-drop Odin, you're pretty much laughing because you've killed 2 for 1, and that's unheard of, really. So I just genuinely love it.
I forgot.
Thundaga's like nice, but it's not necessary. It's 7k.
When it comes up, it'll be good.
Yeah, like, and also if you can pair it with something, like if you want to run that Raiden that does 2k to all active forwards, I might, just because I've got 2 full arts of it for some reason. But as I said, I don't really think the special's that good personally.
It gets S tier just off the entry ability.
Just literally that first effect.
I forgot about Kuja. It's 8k, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Mitch has played Lightning a hell of a lot more than me. And I just remembered, Lightning has quite a lot of weenie forwards. There was a point where you kept getting Legends and they were literally like 4k. 6K.
Looking at you, Sakura. 4k, I think it was.
Yeah. Which I think that's not a bad card, but there are other cards you play. And the fact that Kuja kills something, it's going to stick around because it's a bit bigger and it's got a special and it's just really, really strong. Yeah.
I put it in. Let me just check I've done this alright. I put it in B. Again, just didn't really do much for me. I'm sure it's a good card, just didn't really excite me that much. I don't know. It's good. Anything that breaks on entry is good. Don't really see how I'd make the Thundaga work that much. It feels a bit too niche and specific. So as a card as a whole, not overly convinced. I think that I just wanted to rate other ones higher, I think. But yeah, it's a good card. Just doesn't excite me. So a B from me. We'll move into water. Usually one of the sort of high power legend in the sets is normally from water. We'll start with Garnet. Mitchell, you can start with Garnet. So you are, sort of disclaimer, you are normally Garnet's biggest fan. You love Garnet. You've been dying for a really, really good Garnet. What do you think of this one?
And the wait goes on longer.
The wait goes on.
Originally, I was hyped for this card. I was like, yes, play your summon for free. That's very nice. You get your summons, giving you counters for 2k. It's lovely. I've played it since then, and I've never got a summon off with the effect. And I've played this card about 7 or 8 times, and that's like too many for me now. I've even like given it haste and stuff like that. The stars need to align. We need like summons as well, so then you got the 2k boost, which is really nice. Like, you can just sit there and be like, right, I'm going to swing with this. Got 2k counter that I can just put on something else, but then something will come along like, okay, well, we'll just break Garnet. Okay, well, that's all my counters gone. So fantastic, I've just lost that. So I really detest this card now. I've played with it, so it's in the C.
C, blimey.
C, that's it.
It's gone C for Garnet. The game is dead. That's it, right? So Peter, you've still got a C slot. Are you going to put Garnet in your C slot as well?
She is. She would be a C slot, I think, in any Opus. She's. I prefer the Opus 3 Garnet to this. If the Opus 3 Garnet came out of this set, I think I'd play it more than this one. The counters are fun. But I think they're trying to promote a summoner archetype, which is inherently a bit weird. And like we mentioned Braska earlier, like you need Braska and 2 summoners to ditch the Braska and do 10k to something. But then you also need just summoners in hand to sort of utilize Garnet, and then you've got a backup Ico. Which Ico do you run? I think the deck's in a really weird spot right now. I don't think that Square sort of answered many questions, but just pose more questions for the deck, really. I don't think it really goes anywhere this set. I think you need, dare I say it, another Garnet. A better Garnet.
Yeah, a good one.
One that actually does something. One that sticks. Like, honestly, if this had been given something like Opus 3 Guidance text as well, something like this card can be chosen by summons as well, I may have put it as a B. And then you're thinking like, well, it just dies to abilities then, and then you just sort of think, well, I could I wonder if I could protect it. There's more things you can do then, and it's stickier forward. But even at value, with Unilesker and Garnet, with that Braska card, which you're paying 3 CP for, even at value, I don't think a board with Unilesker and Garnet is very scary at all. And I've sat there against Tom recently, and he sat there with a board with that, and I just think to myself, right, what have I got here? Oh, I've got Barthandalus and something else, and I'm just like, oh, do you know what I mean? It's not scary, and I feel it is C.
Yeah, I've said I agree.
Okay, I'm just going to pause for a second. I just got to run and grab something from upstairs. Hang on.
Why wasn't Garnet better?
I don't understand why they didn't do it, but yeah.
There's got to be something we're missing. Like, maybe Braska doesn't go in a summoner deck.
I think, to start, you need to switch Icos, and bear with me on this, like, that 5-drop Ico is really fucking good.
Yeah, very good.
It accelerates what you're kind of trying to do. You want to search summons. You don't want to search backup summoner forwards. Then you have to wait the turn to play. You play, and then it gets value when it dies as well. So you could even play the other backup Ico. You could, and it's an EX. Like, don't get me wrong, but I just think that's where it needs to change to begin with.
My thing, the way I want to try it is, fuck the backup Ico. Run Steiner. It searches both summoners anyway.
Yeah.
On EX.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then if you do still play Braska, that makes Ico a 4-drop. Search a summon, and on death it draws you a card. I think that if the backup Ico was a different name, FF9, then you're looking at a very strong deck. And if Garnet had that extra text that I just mentioned, then you're looking at a better deck than it currently is, because at the moment it's really clunky. Like, Braska fits in it randomly, and it's like, okay, I'll keep Braska in my hand and I can do 10k, and then you could stack Garnets afterwards if you've still got a summon in hand. But then it's, do you know what I mean? It's a bit weird. I don't like where it sits at the moment at all.
I'm
back. I'll carry on.
Oh, okay.
It was my turn, wasn't it?
Yeah. Go for it, mate.
Okay. So I did say I was going to be a bit controversial to sort of deliberately mix it up a bit. So I've actually gone for an A for Garnet, because I'm actually really enjoying playing it. I've been playing it with Unilesker. So I've had Unilesker and Garnet. I know, Peter, you said it doesn't really scare you seeing that board, but actually I'm really enjoying it. I really like the counter mechanic. Maybe it's because the counters mechanics is quite new, but sort of being able to place counters on. I've been using sort of smaller summons as well, so little things to that always do things, like the Kucha lane I was talking about earlier, to sort of negate stuff. Then you get the 2k counter, and it sits on there, so you can just, it's quite easily getting Garnet up to sort of 3 counters in the games I've been playing it, particularly with the Unilesker where you're reducing stuff down. So with those two, you're getting 1-cost summons for a 3-cost summon, and you can quite quickly amount the counters, and they just sit on Garnet as like a little combat trick, and it's not even a trick because they can see it's there, and it's, you can just stack them when you need them, and really cool. So I think it's really good. I've been enjoying it. I've been waiting to do a good summoners deck. I'm not sure if it, like you said, it's quite there, but I'll give it a try. It's getting there because it's starting to get some more summoner forwards. I really like it. The tap ability, unlike Mitchell, so I have managed to do that, but I've been doing it where I've been paying out to make sure I've only got 1 card left, and then sort of hitting I think it's been the big Bahamut, the fire one. I've been playing fire water, like Guardian Summoner sort of cross. So I was playing the Braska. So you either play the Braska to field and then give it Brave with Orin, or you and then protect it with the Kimari, or you have the Garnet and Unilesker, and then you sort of discard it from hand to do the big stuff. So yeah, at the moment that's the sort of main one I've played, and I've really enjoyed it. So Garnet gets rated highly. Probably as the set goes on, I start playing with everything else, it'll probably move down because it's a little bit niche. But no, I think it's cool, fun card. I would play the backup EX Ico, the new one that searches a summoner forward, because you want to be pairing this with Unilesker, I would think. So yeah, Pretty cool. The other water legend is Sellers. Mitchell, do you want to talk about Sellers first?
I mean, it'd probably be better for Peter to talk about it first, but I will do, because I know Peter's been running this. So, originally, I wasn't that big of... In fact, I thought this card was shit. I thought it was, like... All I saw was when this card attacks, and I thought, okay, well, this card is slow, not even going to bother. But then, since then, that's when Interceptor came out. And I think this card is made for that deck, like a fire-water sort of deck that pair this up with Interceptor. It's now got haste, and then its effects actually come online. You go to 3 damage, which is incredibly easy because you've got Dadluma and Sabin that pair up with this, and then now you get 2 effects. So you go 2k, draw a card, or choose a backup and bounce one of your forwards. Now Fire loves this because then they can play their like ping cards down as well. So like VV or Black Waltz or whatever it is. So just literally from, in my opinion, Interceptor has made this card literally from a dogshit C tier to a B tier just because of that.
Do you go B?
B, yeah.
Peter, I know you're loving this, and that's because you've been running this fire-water mix. But actually, your A is all full, so it's either S or B.
I'm aware. I know what my 2 Bs are going. I already planned that. I've got my A's and my S's all down. I'm glad where my Bs are. I think my Bs are Braska, Tifa, and then there's 2 slots now. I'm happy with that. Celeste goes in B, unfortunately. I think on another set she may have made an A, but I think B is quite a safe spot for her. I think she's quite slow. I know James was saying that he's going to try her in Wind Water, and I think we spoke literally 2 days later. He said he took it out, so I don't think much more needs to be said. It's just not got anything really going for it there. It needs to stay alive to get value. That being said, basically echoing what Mitchell just said, like once it has haste or it's stayed alive for that turn, oh boy, trust me, it is a real problem card. And all of its live text is amazing. Like you could just start drawing cards. If you want to deal damage, draw a card, you can plus 2k, which is relevant for the deck I've been playing it in Firewater, because sometimes 9k is really good number to hit. Bouncing back, like I've been playing sort of like a hasty version, so bouncing back a Sage to then give something haste next turn, or bouncing back something else, like I don't know, anything. It's really good, and also bouncing a problem forward to then swinging some damage. I've been playing Archangel and sort of Zidane and the I forget what Opus it is, but it's a Water Legends Zidane, you know, the one that draws 2 cards.
Oh, I think that's Opus 8. Yeah.
Opus 8. Okay, yeah. So that card was quite good early on with a bit of haste. So yeah, I've been really enjoying it. It's quite a fun card. But it's nothing, like, if it said, like, when it enters the field, like, my face when a card comes out in Opus 11, it literally said, like Mitchell said, when this card attacks, I just face palm. I honestly do, because I feel like so many, the game's got to this point now, where so much power creep and so much stuff happens that you need an on-entry effect to gain value sometimes from the card, unless it has inbuilt protection. I think this card, though, in Firewater, and any way you can give it haste, is insane. I don't really need to speak anymore about Interceptor. Mitchell mentioned it. It's really strong. Really strong. Sellers with haste. But unfortunately, just a B, sadly.
Yeah, I've also put it into the B spot. As I said, I think it needs haste. I'm not a fan of when people say cards are too slow and stuff, but yeah, it does need haste. Makes it busted, really. Like particularly that deck you were playing, Peter, with the Sage and the Zidanes. If you draw right, it's just you can't actually play against that deck. It's a bit like when sort of the fire ice 6 goes off, and you like just can't really play the game, just because you get so far behind, and whatever you play out, they just bounce it back and stuff. So yeah, it is cool. I think any card that has lots of optional text where you can sort of do bits and bobs is always very good. They always tend to be in water as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool, but nothing massively groundbreaking, I think, for me. So yeah, just a B. Alright, so we're into the last two. So it's light and dark. I can see what slots you've got left. So okay, mine's a bit boring. I won't reveal it then because I've got 2 A's left. And Pete, you got an S and a B. Mitch, you have an S and a B. Which way is it going to go? Is it Cloud or Sephiroth? Cloud has come up first. So Peter, for you, Cloud, is it going to be the B or the S?
What do you think?
I think it's going to be B.
I agree. Yeah. How can you put a 10k power forward in B? Right. Cloud is actually quite a good card. People are shitting on it a bit, and I think that's been a bit unfair. I think it's sort of made for like an aggro or like a sort of a tempo / sort of mid-range build. Maybe FF7 only. Considering like light and dark slot problems, Citra, Hein, Kadaj, Sephiroth, things like that. So yeah, but like you pay 3, remove some card. Is it removed from the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, remove 7, do you? Okay, yeah, so aggro decks don't give a shit about that. You remove 7, break 1, okay, cool. And you got value off it already. So, honestly, I quite like it. Clearly I like it better than a lot of the C categories. I don't think it's as bad as what a lot of people are making out, but people are comparing it to a lot of the light and dark cards that obviously we've got, which he does obviously compete with, which is just a shame because we've had some broken light and dark card slots. I'll hand over to Mitchell because Mitchell actually has been playing this card, so he can probably tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah. So this is my S card.
Hey.
I just sat there like giggling away and thinking, how's this going to work out? Yeah, this is my S card. Actually, my S card. And literally for that first line of text, when he enters the field, search one category 7 character and add it to hand. Final Fantasy VII now has backup searches. That is absolutely insane for me. Like, a lot of decks really struggle with consistency if they don't have it. Like, originally, FF9 had it with Steiner, then you had Setzer, you have like others that can search, like it's become more of a common thing now. But if you draw, like, for example, there was a game where I played an FF7 deck and I drew no backups, but I drew this Cloud. I then did this to play Marlene and got a card back from my break zone. Next turn, I drew my backups, and that alone was enough to like keep me in the game. Otherwise, I would have just lost that. If that was any other light card, I would have lost, in my opinion. And it's very strong. Just even if you just drop it first turn, it's still strong. You can just search Jesse. You can search anything really. It doesn't really matter what you search. You're getting a backup out of it. You can, as I said, you can search Tifa to make it like get the 2-drop and go fully aggro if you wanted to. There's a lot of things you can do with this card, and I love the pay 3 breaker card, because if there's a card that your deck is struggling against, you'd pay anything to get rid of it, otherwise you're going to lose the game. The 5 damage doesn't really matter to me. I don't think that's important. But the whole damage? Yeah, gains 2k.
Ooh, nice.
But then it also sets up the Tifa, the Legend Tifa, which makes this 9k brave. So as I said, there's a lot that works. Like, for once, the name I think works for this card, and it was also very consistent. So I genuinely love this card.
Yes, actually, Pete talked about people were sort of shitting on it. I was not shitting on it, but I was in the same sort of bracket where I think the problem it had was that the week or so before we'd seen the Sephiroth, the Dark Sephiroth, and everyone sort of lost it over it because they were like, "This card's like the best card ever," and we got so much hype. And so then everyone was like, "The Cloud is going to be amazing," and then when they saw it, they were a bit disappointed because he was like 7k and removed cards. And I think it was a bit underwhelming. But if you put that aside, I think it's awesome. I put it in. Well, I can only put it into A tier, but I have picked it. It was one of my early A cards. And as Mitchell said, being able to search any character is massive for 7, and it does a lot. And you said about it earlier as well, being Cloud. Sometimes I played quite a lot of Fire 7 when the starter decks came out, and I was never sure which Cloud to pick, and I never really had a favourite one. They all sort of did something slightly different, and none of them really worked well with the starter Tifa. Whereas now this Cloud really does work with the deck, and you can play it late, you can play it early, depending on what you draw. If you play it early, you can fix. So if you get the Jessie or the Zangan early, I like to sort of play Zangan Jessie like turn 1 if I can, and then you can whack this Cloud down, search for your Barret, which is going to set you up later on, and then play the starter Tifa, or you can, it's just, you're rocking really quickly by playing this early. I think it's really cool. I really like it. It's really grown on me in the small time we've had it. It wasn't so short at first. It's just really grown on me, and I can't wait to play it, really. I think the art's cool as well. I love that shot of him with the
art is lovely.
Sword. This is a full art one as well, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. So I think it's just, really cool. Really love it. Really happy to have a Cloud that I really want to play. The light part annoyed me at first because, when it sort of blocks out the really good dark 7 cards. But actually, again, this now can go into other categories. So you can put it into other element mixes, slip it in, search out. Do you
play Cosmos now then? Or Materia because of Aerith starter?
I don't think so. It depends what you're doing. I probably wouldn't. You could probably get. Is there ways you can? I was thinking of this earlier as I was looking building a 7 deck. I was looking at ways to discard sort of extra lights. There's a few ways you can do it in Earth and stuff. Ways to get value of discard and stuff. Maybe you can run both. I'm not sure that, but I think it's really cool. The remove card ability, I'm not sure, just because I'm a bit scared and I'm not very good at counting. So I won't really know how many's left in my deck, so I'll be bad at that. But it's pretty cool. Really cool. Love Cloud. A rating. Mitch, you were playing all of the lights when you got Aerith and Cloud.
Yeah, I tried the both of them because I wanted to know which one was better, and they're both amazing. So I sort of come out of it not knowing anything. But
does it work well with that one drop Zac, where you have to discard a card at the end of your turn to ping something? Because then you can get some value off the extra lights, maybe.
It probably could do, but you kind of want to play both of them down. That's the problem. So I don't know. You need to wait to search either. Like personally, I think Materia is better because then it searches you the Cloud or the Aerith. But I need to work out, because I remember playing because I played a Mono Earth version, and I think there was literally a turn where I played. I had Materia down. I searched the Cloud, played the Cloud, searched the Aerith. Did I say Aerith down? And I had Materia down, played the Cloud, searched the Aerith, ditched the 2 cards in hand to play the Aerith, and then got 2 cards back and then played another forward down. I think it was like a 2-drop Tifa. I'm like,
damn. Oh, the Earth one that gets the haste with Sangan or something.
Yeah. And that was for not a lot of CP, because it genuinely wasn't a lot of CP. I've just played 3 strong forwards down. Because if Aerith doesn't die, it protects your forwards. If Tifa's just a strong card at 2 CP, and this Cloud can break stuff. I genuinely think it sets up so many things. There's so many plays you can do with this card.
I think the break bit's growing on me, actually. I'm just trying to think, when I played Earth Fire 7, sometimes I'd get ahead to 5 or 6 damage, and then I'd sort of stall, and then they'd sort of come back into it, and I'd get a bit stuck. I suppose now I could get rid of problem cards. I don't need to worry about it because I'm ahead. So and really cool.
And as you said, it's good at like any point of the game for me personally.
Yeah, no, I really like it.
Because the deck has a lot of specials as well, so you can even just top yourself up with that.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Very good. Very happy that Cloud's cool. All right, so we're on to our last card of the set, which is the Dark Sephiroth. So if you've been paying attention, you should know where we're slotting all of these. So Khan and Peter, it's your big S slot.
To be honest, it's going to be a bit of an anticlimax. Clearly, I am quite shocked at you two not putting this in S tier. Just to clarify, this is 4 CP, 10,000 power, breaks a character, any character. All you need to do is take 4 damage, and this set has basically made that busted. Like you can literally take damage like nothing. Like in my Fire Water, I have got my opponent to 4 damage like nothing, and then waited for them to play something, play Sephiroth, and then it's just game. Like honestly, don't worry about the S ability. I think just sort of forget that exists for now, because when that does come up, I think then it probably is game. But it reads really well, it plays really well, and honestly, I found it really hard doing this list because I've got Shadow at the top, then I've got Sephiroth, Bath, and Kuja that I have struggled to put in the S tier, but I took out Kuja and it was between Seth and Bath, and I just think Seth it's just so strong. If Mitch was done that turn like he just said he did, I play Seth down, break Materia, and it's just like I'm sitting there with 4 CP 10k, you know, and I honestly, the card is absolutely nuts. And it just basically, the power, it just sort of epitomises the power creep of this set and this legend list, because obviously Kadaj came out in the starter sets, and Kadaj has been widely played. Hein is also amazing, so it competes with those, but I think it has its own willingness to play it. Like I am definitely going to play it in certain decks, and it's easily an S tier for me. Easily 10,000 power, 5 digits, 4 CP, break a character. Not any 4 less character, any character. Okay.
Just Mitch, do you want to tell us why you've given this one a B?
Because
I can't believe this.
No, literally, I do think it's a very strong card. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very strong. It's probably like stronger than some of the A tiers that I've actually put it in. The problem is with it is that it's a dark card. Darks have so many good cards that I think are better cards than this, and that's the problem. Like I think Hein, for example, is much better. Kadaj is much better. This is going to be a real.
Where does this leave Kadaj? Because we've just had Kadaj and it's wicked, and then all of a sudden you've got Sephiroth and Cloud.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's like you probably want to play them over at Kadaj.
Like Mitchell said before about Kadaj, that it's a product of the meta. And I couldn't have put it any better than what Mitchell said before. Like, Kadaj will see play. It's a really good card.
But then...
It just feels like a shame that we suddenly get these. And
so
the dark slot's always hard to compete for. And then you think you've cracked it, and then they just open it up again.
So, right, for example, if you run Kadaj, are you going to run Sephiroth as well? Because then you'd have to run Chaos. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to play.
No.
So you're not going to run Kadaj.
If I'm just saying this right now, if Kadaj was in this legend list, Kadaj would be S tier. I'm just saying that right now.
No. So
because Kadaj is an S tier card.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think he would probably be the top tier. But
it
also
would be more than Shadow. It'll be my top card.
Yeah, and I think Hein is probably up there as well because they're both so good. But I don't see this being seen play over them. It's, as I said, it's really strong. I'm not saying that, but with what it has to compete with, I don't think it's strong enough, and that's why it's a B.
Yeah, so I'm giving it an A. I think it's good. Like you said, 10k is not to be sniffed at, especially on 4CP, and it breaks on an entry.
5 digits.
A full fist.
Did I not tell you with the 5 digits?
So yeah. Oh, I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, that's good. I like it. I think, yeah, problem I have with it is speak to the other dark slot. Yeah, I don't know.
It's good. 5 digits are scary, man. Look at the numbers. I'm like, oh my god.
But then,
like, you play high, Mitchell. I'm sitting there like, okay, I'll play Sephiroth. If you've got no cards in hand, I'm killing your high. You probably probably have cards in hand, so I'll kill something else. Then your high is sitting there like, okay, I'm swinging my Sephiroth then. Like, I'm not scared of your high because it's bigger, you know.
Especially when you play this with Tifa as well. 12.
Yeah, but
yeah.
But
it's got brain as well.
But Sephiroth will just die.
Of course it will.
Hein will stay there and protect itself. Same as Kadash. That's the reason dark cards are so strong. Is because they've got their own inbuilt protection. Hein will discard a card, and Kadash will remove itself during his opponent's turn. Sephiroth will just sit there and die to a 4-drop Odin or something similar.
Yeah, I mean that's why I didn't go S. I went A. So
yeah.
I always used
to 4-drop Odin in that sense. I honestly think Sephiroth is busted. Like if it doesn't, you don't kill it straight away, and then you've got that S ability as well. It's already had value, and it's sitting there at 10k.
Yeah.
Like,
I always used to play decks where I rely on like the forwards to do the work, so the forwards are doing the damage and the power, and it just doesn't really work in this game. Like, as Mitch said, anything vaguely scary or interested just gets killed or removed like straight away, which is probably one of the reasons why you put Braska lower, because it's a big scary card that does a lot, but it's not going to do anything because they're going to get rid of it before they'll find a way to get rid of it without hurting themselves. And that's probably where I was terrified of the 10k Sephiroth when it was spoiled. I was like, this is going to be a monster. But then the more I thought about it, so actually think about if I was, forget about whether I could deal with it. Think about when I play it, everyone's just going to deal with it, and that's why it comes down a bit for me. But still, still think it's really good.
Yeah. As I said, the only reason it's a B for me is because it's a dark card. If it wasn't a dark card, it'd be a hell of a lot higher.
Oh yeah, imagine this in like ice with all the other Sith.
Yeah, if this was an ice card, this would be S tier.
This is where it belongs, though, in an ice deck.
Does it though?
I think it belongs in actually any deck. It honestly does.
Yeah,
I personally would run 50.
Oh my god, 50 Sephiroth dot deck. Can you imagine?
You can't play a card until you're on 4 damage.
How many Sephiroths are there?
Oh, that's
you.
Yeah, that S ability is going to be online. I'm playing that this Friday, and this Sephiroth is being played. I'm going to fuck you guys up with it.
Alright, I'll play Cloud on Friday.
Cloud versus Sephiroth Day.
Let's do it. Alright. Okay, so that completes our Legend review. We've talked for ages. We always say we'll do it this way because it'll be nice and quick fire, and then we just talk for hours because we just love talking about cards. But if you're still with us, yeah, thanks. Good set. It's been fun reviewing the Legends. We've probably talked way too much now.
We didn't mention Pandemonium.
We did. Well, it was in the Ronso Rage that it was Garbo and shouldn't exist. So
yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much, and speak to you soon. See you later.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Ooh, that was a long one.